All right, today we're going to look at the last section in chapter 10 for the book, which is circumference and arc length. And we've briefly talked about these before, but we're going to look at how to find the circumference of a circle or the length of an arc, which is just going to be a fraction or a partial of the circle's circumference. In order to do this, we do need to remember first the circumference is 2 pi r or pi d. So if a wheel has a radius of 6, how far does it travel if it rotates 100 times? So one revolution around the wheel would be 2 pi times 6. And then if it goes around 100 times, we would multiply that by 100 and we would get 1200 pi in exact form, 1200 pi units. Length of an arc, we're going to take the measure of whatever that arc is divided by 360, which gives us our fraction, and then multiply that by 2 pi r. So when we think about a circle, and the measure of the arc is 40 degrees with a radius of 10. Then how long is it along the circle? It is 40 out of the possible 360 degrees around the circle. And then multiply that by our 2 pi 10. And when we simplify that, we're going to get to 20 pi over 9 feet. For number 3, we're looking at a square with a semicircle on top. So because it's a square, we know that all of the side lengths are 12, which means with that being the center point, we have 6 and 6. So for the square portion, we have 3 sides going around. So we're going to start off with a perimeter of 36. And then we need to add our half circle. So we need to add half of 2 pi, and then our radius is 6. So our total perimeter is 36 plus 6 pi. Same concept here. It's like we're looking at a track here. We have the straightaways plus the half circles on each side. So we have a rectangle with semicircles on each end. What is the perimeter? So go ahead and pause it and solve for this one. We get a side of 400 and 100. Our straightaways are 800. Plus, and then we have a radius of 50. So this is half of 2 pi 50, which means each side is 50 pi. You also could do it as, instead of it being half of a circle, on each side it's half, which makes it a whole circle. But you get 800 plus 100 pi. For number 5, we have inside figure is a square. So take our square properties. We got 6, 6, and 6. And that's the same on the outside. So we have 6, 6, and 6. So our straight lines there are all 6, which means we have a perimeter of 24. And then for our partial circles, we have a quarter. Because it's a square, we know those are right angles, and that is a quarter of a circle. And we have another quarter, 3 quarters, 4 quarters. We have a whole circle with a radius of 2. So it's just 2 pi 2. So we're adding 4 pi. perimeter of this figure, we have two semicircles, but they are different semicircles. So we have two straightaways that are both 4. So I know that the perimeter is going to be 8 plus something. The inside semicircle has a radius of 3. So for the little circle, it is half of 2 pi 3. So I'm going to get 3 pi. And then for the big circle, it has a radius 3 and 4, which is 7. So for that one, it's going to be half of 2 pi 7. So that is going to be adding 7 pi. So our total perimeter is 8 plus 10 pi. The length of the arc is 6 pi with a diameter of 15. What is the measure there? So we're going to work a little backwards here. If the diameter is 15, that means our radius is 7.5. So we could think about what is the entire perimeter of the circle. The entire perimeter of the circle, circumference being 2 pi times 7.5, the entire circumference is 15 pi. So around the whole circle is 15 pi, but just the portion that we're talking about is 6 pi. So we have 6 pi out of a possible 15 pi multiplied by our 360 degrees in the circle, which means that the measure of that arc has to be 144 degrees. Last one, number 8, the area of a sector is 30 pi. So if we have a circle here, the area equals 30 pi, and the circumference of the circle equals 20 pi. So if the circumference of the circle is 20 pi, that means our diameter is 20 and our radius is 10. Using the area formula of pi r squared, I know that the total area is 100 pi. So how much of the circle is shaded? We have 30 pi out of a possible total area of 100 pi. And we need to multiply that by our total possible, so it's that fraction times 360 degrees, which means that the measure of that arc is 108 degrees. And that concludes our 10-9 notes.